Welcome to the Chain Out Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Daryl.
Hey everybody, we made it. It's Jeremy and Daryl. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 121 of the Chain Out Podcast. We're excited because we've done some major upgrades into the podcast studio here.
Yeah.
But with any major upgrades, once in a while there's
Teething problems.
there's a little cutting your teeth on it. Hence the late start here. But thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. You know what, I wanted to start with a question with Daryl?
Yeah.
I was going to say, can a bunch of dead branches in front of your lie be actually behind your lie? If you watch the last few holes of the MPO finish with Ricky and Gannon, then you know what that means. And yes, they can apparently. So I thought I'd throw
As
that.
long as it's not a tree.
Yes. I thought I'd throw that hot topic out there. We can maybe talk about it on Around the Basket. It'll be a good one there. But if you've got thoughts there, put them into the comments for us, and we'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you have
go
anything
ahead.
else? Yeah.
You're
No,
good.
I was just going to say, you know what, Jeremy? 2 weeks ago, we had Hall of Famer Brian Henniger on the show. Yeah.
We did.
Last week, we spoke to Olympian Trent Michaud.
We did. I saw him there.
Yeah. And this week, we're heading right back to another Hall of Famer. We're excited. We're going to have Scott Stokely back on the Chain Out Podcast, and he'll be joining us maybe in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're going to get him on right away here. We normally have a bit of a top of show, but we're going to move the top of show
To the bottom of
towards
the show.
the bottom of the show. So that'll be good. So we'll jump right to our sponsors here for you, just so everybody knows who's sponsoring this wonderful podcast that you're checking out. And that's two great Canadian disc golf stores. We've got BR Disc Golf sponsoring us. When I talk to Brendan, he says, I say, what do you want us to shout out this week? He's like, I love what you're doing, checking out the website and finding gems on there.
Oh, yeah.
So I did it once again, and I was looking there, and he's got a disc that I know that has been a staple for me over time, and it was one of my furthest throwers.
Yeah.
And that is the Thought Space Mantra.
Oh, you love a mantra.
I do. So
Yeah.
at a 9.6 -2-1, that disc makes even my throws look good.
It looks good when you throw it good.
That's it. So BR Disc Golf has the ethereal plastic ones with the two flowers with the skulls on it. If
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
seen that
I've
design,
seen
they've
that.
always got those cool designs. And then we also have Disc Republic sponsoring us as well. And Jason over there has so many good items on that site as well.
Yeah.
And when we were looking, having Mr. Scott Stokely himself on the show tonight,
Yeah.
we thought you might be interested after we're done having this conversation to pick up some of his discs, and Disc Republic has them for you. Has the Stokely discs as well as the Juju, which is the disc that has those multiple thumb divots on the top.
Right. Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like a 2-4 -1 0 putter, and that's a great one to check out. So after the podcast, head over there, and when you are shopping on Disc Republic or BR Disc Golf, use the code CHAINOUT at checkout. It's a promo code that helps support us, and we really appreciate it. So
Yeah. Should we give just a quick shout out here to say there's still time to enter the Chantel Budinsky F7 Fractal giveaway?
yes, for
Post
sure.
is up on Instagram, and now it's up on Facebook. Head over there. It's going to close March 20th.
That's right.
That's Friday.
So as of broadcast, you've got a couple days left to get your name in and get part of that giveaway.
Yeah.
And of course, we got giveaways lined up after that. Always another giveaway
Always a
coming.
giveaway.
And then after this episode's over, Daryl, we're probably going to head over and do that Patreon thing we like to do.
Yeah, we're going to head over to Around the Basket.
Yeah.
Head over to Patreon/ChainOut. Sign up for a free link, and you can join us live on YouTube, where we talk even more disc golf.
And we get a lot more interactive there. And when you're on that feed with us, you can help guide the conversation, get your thoughts and opinions in. We like to get you on the podcast through your comments. So that'll be great. But Daryl, we've had our wonderful guest sitting in the green room here for a little bit. I think he's perusing a very good book as well.
Yeah, I think
is
so.
what we had heard. So,
Yeah.
when you're done eating all the M&Ms, when you're done having all the beverages that we've got out there in the green room, you might as well read a great book, and that's exactly what he's been doing.
Exactly.
So let's work to get him on the show here. So if you play disc golf and follow disc golf in social media, tonight's guest will be quite familiar to you. He is a Hall of Famer, one of the biggest promoters of disc golf. He is so committed to the sport that he has the words disc and golf tattooed across his knuckles. Join us in welcoming one of the true gems of our sport to the podcast, back to the podcast, actually. Let's have Mr. Scott Stokely join us on the show.
Oh, this is so good. I just can't believe. Did you read this one part? Oh my God, it gets better every. Oh wait, am I on? Oh, I'm sorry. I was busy reading Scott Stokely, Growing Up Disc Golf.
It's
How
a
you guys doing?
good. How are you?
And that looks like a
I'm doing
well-read
fantastic.
book there, Mr. Stokely. It looks like you've checked it out a couple times, maybe?
Yeah, I checked it out at the library 5 years ago and never returned it. It's now cost me $365 in late fees.
Money well spent. That's what I'll say. You know, the good thing about
Thank
people
you.
buying it is they get to obviously hear about all your stories. The good thing about the way that I digested your story, if you want to put it that way, is I listened to the audiobook. So I actually got you to talk to me and tell me your stories yourself.
Yeah, it's actually, I was talking about it just this evening. If you listen to the audiobook, you're going to be blown away at how good of a job I did in reading the book. Except, here's what people don't know. I didn't do a great job of reading the audiobook. I worked really, really hard to do what I feel like was an honest, like C minus, like maybe almost average. And then an audio engineer, he basically, his name's Will. Um, I thought I was going to say McCracken. Will McCaskill out of Nashville. Sorry, Will. Basically, he went in there and he spent weeks with all the technology, and he got rid of the breath noises and set the pacing, and like he made me sound really good. And so people think I'm like really good at reading audiobooks now, and honestly, I'm not being humble. I was mediocre, but it sounds great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can second that. Well, it's great to have you back on the show again. We know that you're always traveling. It looks like you're out and about traveling again. Where are you joining us from tonight?
So I'm in Rock Hill. Yeah, I do a lot of these from the car because I'm running events every single day in a different city. Mostly, I'm in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I just ran a brand new type of event that I just started doing tonight.
Okay.
It's the Stokely Discs Triple Threat Challenge. It sounds very
Ooh,
Yeah.
intense. But basically, I show up. You you get 3 discs. You pay money. You get 3 discs, and you have to play a round of golf for 3 discs. Random draw doubles, and we're just playing for fun, just like in the good old days. And then, ironically, uh, afterwards, I've started doing something which I'm introducing, which is I'm calling it a disc golf spoken word, where I take 90 minutes and I basically tell the story of the history of disc golf through my eyes, since I was basically there for most of it. Um, so it's a 60 to 90 minute historical walkthrough of the sport, which I'm hoping to turn into something more mainstream. It's a lot of
okay.
fun.
That's
Awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the first one tonight. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I don't know if people want to hear a 90-minute talk about disc golf. So I'm going to do about 100 of them, and we'll see it. Well, no, no. I mean, for real. I'm going to do like about 100, and I'll have an idea at the end of 100. Has this caught on, and people are excited for me to come to town and do it, or does it fall flat? But you can't figure it out after 20 or 30.
Right.
You got to like dive in, right? So I think 100's my number,
Well, and
but
the
I think
thing
it's
is,
going to be good.
yeah, and by the time you're done that too, Scott, at 100, you'll have that polished one where it'll almost be like the TED Talk version of it too, where it'll be
Mhm.
right polished and that, which is good. And you know, with all the travel you've been doing, you and I almost caught up to you. So I travel a little bit for work from Canada, and I'll head down to the Memphis, Tennessee area. And when I'm down there, I
Okay,
always check in with the boys at 1010 Disc Golf down in South Haven. I just stop
of
by and
course,
say hello,
love them.
and they had said that you were just there. You were doing some stuff down in the Mississippi area, and we just missed each other
Yeah,
by about a week or so. So maybe I'll catch up to you one day.
yeah. No, I ran an event in just outside of Memphis. I did like 5 events in Mississippi, 6 in Alabama, 6 in Georgia. I had 4 scheduled in Arkansas, but that was the big snowstorm a couple months ago. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in like literally a different city every single day running these different events. It's kind of like what I do.
Yeah. Well, and the last time you were on the show, we looked back at it. It was June 14th, 2024. So almost 2 years ago, getting up to there. And it was definitely a highlight episode for us, Scott, because if you remember, you were in Washington.
Yes, I do.
It was a league night. And when you were doing that, you were out there and something exciting happened. So you remember what happened when you were out on that league
Yeah,
course?
I remember. Yeah, I've only done this twice in my life. So I'm doing a live podcast with you guys, and I'm live streaming while I'm playing around of golf, and I go, "Hey, you should watch me throw this shot." And I threw a black ace.
Yep.
Yeah. It was so much interesting, like, excitement, commotion. It took us a while on this end. We're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then you're running and you're commentating as you ran. And then later on, we
Yeah.
were able to see your video and compare the two videos and put them side by side. So
Well, actually, there were 3 videos because you had your version from your phone. We had what we could see of what you were seeing, and then you had somebody standing behind you filming you as well. So it was almost like you had it all from 3 different angles almost.
Yeah, no, that was wild, and that was actually what's even weirder was I was out on the San Juan Islands in the Puget Sound at this little course on this little island at Friday Harbor. So it was actually in a very like obscure like location as well. So it was a confluence of events. It was perfect.
yeah,
It was definitely memorable. That's for sure.
that's it.
So we know there's been a lot happening with you since the last time we spoke. We want to cover
Yes.
as much of it as we can, but let's start with
For sure.
so back in December, Oak Grove celebrated their 50th anniversary, and we know there's been a number of Canadians over the couple of years that have gone down there to play the course, but maybe people that aren't so familiar with it. Do you want to give a little bit of about background about Oak Grove and its importance to the sport?
Yeah, so the Oak Grove is the very first permanent frisbee golf course. And I call it permanent frisbee golf course because it was a frisbee golf course until 1983 because Whammo, who owned the trademark on frisbee, made most of the flying discs. So for all intents and purposes, if you played, disc golf, you called it frisbee golf because you played with frisbees until 1983. Anyways, that was the first permanent course to be put into the ground. And I always, or at least often tell my origin story is that I played my first round of frisbee golf on the world's first permanent frisbee golf course when it was the only course in the entire world.
Right.
Well, that's Oak Grove Park. It had been in the ground. I can't tell you exactly how long, but it wasn't more than a month or two. It could have been a week or two, or it could have been 4 months. I don't know. But not long after it got put in the ground is when I first played, when I was 7 years old. But I didn't play every day. So I ended up moving to Locking Out of Flint Ridge when I was in 1980, about 4 or 5 years after the course went in the ground. That's when I lived and started playing every day as a 11-year-old. So that's where, so it's the very first course, but that's where my origin story was as well. So at the 50th anniversary, it's one of the greatest honors I've ever received, is I was asked to be one of the 5 speakers about the history of Oak Grove. And I was the youngest. Well, actually, take that back. They actually invited Philo because he was the generation after me.
Right.
So his story is also part of the story. But I was, aside from Philo, I was the youngest player on there by like 20 years. So it was pretty incredible to be up there with like heroes of mine that are so important to the sport.
No. And Scott, our listeners, they can head over to YouTube and they can watch your speech. And, for you, what I've noticed in everything I watch and what you put out there is you really do wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're comfortable with your feelings, and you're willing to share all of these memories and things that help keep disc golf alive. And it was really moving to hear your speech and to hear you chat about just what the Gophers meant to you. And I encourage everybody to go out there and check it out.
Yeah, if you go search for my Oak Grove Park speech, so I don't look. I'm doing this whole this whole spoken word thing. I don't consider myself a naturally good public speaker. I think I'm a good storyteller, but the idea of putting together a speech and doing it well, I don't think's my forte. And somehow this 8 minute or 10 minutes speech that I gave, when I look back at it, I went, oh my God, that's actually the best thing I've ever done. And, and I say this very humbly. I have no problem talking about things I'm not good at. And I don't think I'm a good public speaker most of the time. I talk too fast. I'm but I just, for some reason, I got into the zone for 10 minutes and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it definitely shines through as well, because I think sometimes we can all chat and we can all talk and that, but to actually engage people and to get them to connect with you is what it did. And even across a screen from distance, right? So I wasn't present in the room, but yet I was still felt like I was connecting with you. So whatever you think about your storytelling and your speaking, it's getting better and better. And if you're going to do 100 of your spoken word ones, it's going to just keep leveling up.
Oh yeah.
Well, when I said what you said earlier was actually right on point. When I said I'm doing 100 of them, one of the reasons is because let's see if people are interested, if it catches on, word of mouth, right? If it people are interested, but it's also because I'm not going to do a good job at the beginning. In fact, eventually I'm going to charge money for these. Not after 100. I'm probably going to start charging after about 20 or 30. I'll start charging something. I'm not charging for the first 20 or 30 because they're not going to be good, because it's not natural for me. My intention is to be very good at this thing that I'm doing after I do 100 of them. I better be good after 100. I mean, if I'm not good after 100, I probably shouldn't be doing it. But I think after 100, I'm going to get it. I'll get it pretty polished.
Do you have an outline of what you're going to say, or is it more of a Q&A? I know you mentioned about talking about the history of disc golf. Like, do you have an outline of where you're going to start from, how far you're going to get up to, or are you expecting it to be more of a Q&A?
No, so I did it. I did it tonight for the first time. I wanted to do an outline, and then I decided not to. I decided that I'm just going to talk and just make a mental note which jokes land. That's a big one. If there's parts of the story where I notice people looking at their phones,
right,
I'll make a note of it. And if they look at their phones every time I tell that part of the story, they don't care about that part of the story. So that's the idea. So I'm going to let it write itself in a sense, because I could, if you asked me to, you put a gun to my head, I could spend 15 hours telling you the history of disc golf, going into all the little nuanced details. Most of that 15 hours is probably very boring, but I have enough material that I'm just going to throw stuff to the wall, and I'm just going to pick the best stuff. Like, whatever people are interested in is what they're going to I'm going to tell. So really, the people at these early events are going to write this. They're not going to write the story, but they're going to write the format themselves.
Yeah,
they're going to vote with their attention spans.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyone listening, that'll be a good indicator, is that make sure you cheer and clap for the parts that you like, so that Scott knows that he needs to keep those parts in the talk.
I did.
Well, I mean, I've done the throwing clinics I've done. I mean, I've done, I'm approaching 1,000 throwing clinics.
Wow.
And especially the last 400 of them, they're pretty close, because over time I started nailing down my teaching method, the Stokely Disc Golf method. It's not a different method of throwing; it's a format by which I teach. That's the method, and I started nailing it. And one of the things that I learned is that like certain things that I improv. Someone says something, I said something, everybody laughs, or I throw something in there, everybody laughs. I'm like, ooh, I can do that next time. But it needs to sound like it's spontaneous. So there's there's all sorts of things I would talk about where I would just kind of think about it, and it would just hit me. It's kind of like ... and everybody laughs, even though I said those exact words for hundreds of times.
Just don't go to 2 shows in a row. Or 2 clinics.
Yeah. No, if you come to 2, you're going to get... It's almost to the point now my clinics are basically... Like, well, my girlfriend tells me all the time, I mean, she could do a clinic, because it's the same words every single time, really.
Yeah. We got two questions from the chat here. One goes on to what you're actually just saying. Can you ask Scott if he remembers doing a forehand clinic at the NADGT Championships in Austin, Texas in 2022? Dina was there and completely changed her forehand. Now she's getting more distance each year. Do you remember that event, that clinic?
Yeah, so I do remember that event because that was when I got to speak in front of probably like 500 people.
Okay.
So that was one of my public speaking gigs that I'm referencing where I don't think I did a great job. I think it was okay. I think the material no, let me rephrase it. So basically I was asked by Dave Feldberg to be one of the four speakers, or no, I'm sorry. He asked me to be the keynote speaker for the amateur national championships. And I asked him what he wanted me to talk about. He says, talk about anything you want. And I'm like, are you sure about that, Dave? And he's like, yeah. Well, he goes, I trust you. So I went up there and I gave a 10-minute talk about effectively what this tournament would have been like had if we were in 1982.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Because things were much, much, much different then. You know, the tournament director would be drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning, and if you had scorecards, that's a bonus. But really, you might need someone with a notepad and paper so people can keep score. By the way, PDGA tournaments, right? This is the early days.
Yes,
Anyways, and the material, I stand by the material that I wrote. It was funny, it was good, it was interesting. And then when I listened to the speech, by the way, this is also on my YouTube channel, I was talking so fast and I wasn't close enough to the microphone. I mean, just silly things like that totally derailed what would have been like really good stuff. But, there's a skill to public speaking that it's learned. And, I thought I gave myself a C minus.
Right.
Okay.
With A+ material, C- in my delivery. So it turned out to be it's okay.
Probably your own worst
Not
critic.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
She says that
I know everyone else said
No, go ahead.
no. I know everyone else said they loved it, but I talked too fast. I don't care. I did.
She also says that you flew off to Asia immediately right afterwards because the course was right next to the airport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I took off. I went to Asia for like 14 weeks from Austin.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's why not?
The other question that I had from the chat as well, and I noticed because I went to your website, looked up the 3-disc events that you're putting on, and I see that you've got a lot in North Carolina, and it says on there, request, if you want to book one, request it now. We have a question from the chat that says, would love to see a Stokely 3-disc event, something like a trilogy or a circuit challenge. Now, obviously, asking you to come up to Canada, you'd have to try and make it worth your while and schedule a whole big trip across Canada to make sure you could hit every community that we want you to be up here for. But is that something that maybe you're looking for as well? Is somewhere where you can just purchase the 3 discs in bulk, run our own tournaments with your Stokely discs?
Yeah. So what I'm doing is all the events I've been running for years have been teaching clinics. That's kind of been my forte. It's been what I've been doing. Yeah. This is something new. So I'm doing these. It's a little bit of trial and error. And then as soon as I have something that I think is going to work, I will do it to scale. But it's not going to be the exact same thing. The reason why is that anything I've done where people expect me to be there in person and then someone else runs the same type of event, but I'm not there, people show up, and it doesn't matter how much you tell them I'm not going to be there. People show up, they expect me to be there. They fly in, they drive in, and so I'm working the bugs out of that. But the answer is absolutely. I'm trying to promote Stokely Discs and King Discs. Everything in my life is wrapped into these companies right now. This is my future, my everything. So that is, I will be doing these types of things, and announcing them before too long.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, and Scott, you had shown the 3-disc there, and why don't we move the conversation over to Stokely Discs? So 2 years ago, when you were on the podcast, when we talked, there was a Wren, the Cardinal was out, and you were just at that time getting ready to release the Owl, but a ton has changed since then. So why don't you catch us up to where Stokely Discs is now?
Okay, well, I'll make this short because I know the viewers don't want to hear a commercial for Stokely Discs, um,
I do.
because no, I mean for real, um, I like telling stories. What
Yeah.
these discs do isn't really a story. Um, the story is if you want to know about manufacturing and owning a golf disc manufacturing company, I can tell you all about that. But the short of it is, I have 7 models out for Stokely Discs, with more discs coming. We're not stopping at 7.
Hmm.
I also have 2 Ting discs out because we purchased Ting a few years back,
Hmm.
which is an existing company. Ting is the one I'll show you for those of you who haven't seen it. You see the divots on top?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, the divots are all a different distance from the rim. There's 5 different thumb locations. The idea is that with these divots, you're not requiring only friction with your thumb. There's actually something to dig your thumb into, and you can pick which of the 5 distances from the rim to place your thumb, which allows you to repeat that position every time. So that's what and by the way, it doesn't affect the flight. It doesn't help the flight, doesn't hurt the flight. Um, the flight of the disc is more determined by the wing of the disc, the outside, not the
The top.
um yeah, not the top. Um so anyways, the point is that it doesn't affect the flight. So that these are the Ching discs, and then Stokely Discs has 7 models out.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of drivers. We have 3 drivers, a mid, an approach, a couple putters.
Yeah, and I think what's
And
been
then
interesting with it, Scott, and like you said, not an advertisement for it, but like as you bring out the Robin, and when I'm checking out on the site and checking out the numbers, it's like the numbers are not always listed right away because you want it. Is that an effort to kind of get true numbers from people's experience? Looking so
yeah,
good
so
that disc.
basically, yeah, so the thing is about flight numbers is they're arbitrary.
Hmm.
Okay, so there is no actual metric to flight numbers. It is basically all flight numbers really are is a description of certain characteristics relative to other characteristics when judged by the same player, because everybody has different speed and spin and nose angle and wobble. So there's going to be a little bit of inconsistency between companies, between molds, different throwing techniques, right? So there is no way to give an accurate, quote unquote, accurate flight numbers. Like, oh, well, you could build a machine that does well. That machine still has a set speed, set spin, set
Right.
nose angle, right? So even that would only create consistency from one disc to another. The best way, then, by far, the most accurate flight numbers you can get is to crowdsource flight numbers amongst the largest number of players possible and creating an average.
Hmm.
And the reason why is that the purpose of flight numbers is they're trying to tell an average player what the disc will do on an average throw.
Hmm.
If you throw faster, the flight numbers relate to how those flight numbers affect the disc flight, which is different than somebody else who doesn't throw as fast, has more wobble, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the crowdsourcing of the flight numbers creates a number, by definition, that is what the disc golf community thinks the disc does as a whole, as an aggregate, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We released without flight numbers because we wanted the community to come up with these flight numbers, because that is more accurate than I can do, than a robot can do, or anything.
Right.
It sounds strange, but it's math. It's something called regression to the mean, which means the larger the sample size, the more likely you're going to get closer to the result
Yeah.
that you're looking for, and ultimately that's the average. So
Yeah.
sorry, that's way more detailed than you were probably looking for.
No,
But
no,
the idea is,
yeah.
I want flight numbers to match. Now, having said that, I think that might have hurt us in the early stages, because people are like, well, I don't want to buy a disc if I don't know what it does.
Yeah.
So we might have to modify this at some point, because it's a really good concept, but a good concept doesn't mean when you execute it, it comes out the way you want. By the way, I encourage you to try these discs, like the Robin from, you can get it at StokelyDiscs.com, but check with your local retail store first. I know Disc Republic is a sponsor of your company. If you have access to Disc Republic, absolutely support your local vendor first. I'm a manufacturer. My role is not to try to undermine their ability to be an entrepreneur in the sport by competing against them. However, if you don't have access to a store or a store near you, by all means, check out StokelyDiscs.com.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And seeing as you just touched on the manufacturing there, obviously, playing frisbee since you're 11, you've thrown all types of discs, and you know the characteristics and everything to do with about the discs themselves. But becoming a manufacturer of discs, like, what was the learning curve around that? How's that whole process been?
Sure. So the first thing is that I have a partner. So it's not just me. We don't third-party manufacture. Okay, one of the differences is we are one of the only companies who are actually manufacturing our own discs, meaning our machines, our molds, they're being shipped out of our warehouse, our plastic drying machines, our hot stamp machines. Like, it's our company. We manufacture golf discs. That's important because that is a whole unique set of challenges, but also a lot more things we can do. For instance, third-party manufacturing for other people, like we can do that. There's a lot of stuff we can do. But the only thing that we did not do out of the gate was we had help and still have help in disc design and the early manufacturing process. I'm not trying to misrepresent what we do and say something that isn't true. We did get help within the industry because designing golf discs has a very steep learning curve.
Okay.
And there's a lot to it. And a lot of the bigger companies, you can't buy their early discs because they, and this is not knocking these companies. The big companies make great discs, but a lot of the early discs were stinkers, right? Because they were learning how to make discs.
Yeah.
That's just a fact, right? Go look at the early Latitude discs. And I mean, I got nothing against Latitude, and I love Tomas and Svante, and Tomas is a great disc designer. But his early discs, he was learning how to make golf discs. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to start off with the stinkers, which wouldn't necessarily sell well. And then when you start making good discs, now you have to overcome a damage to the reputation because people are like, well, I tried 2 of your discs, didn't like them. And you're like, oh, but I promised this one's good.
Yeah.
That's a whole. And hey, all the big companies got past that, but they got past it. It took years, right? So anyways, we didn't want to do that. So we decided to spend the money to have someone who knows what they're doing to make discs that are good. And these discs are, look, I swear by the discs that we make. They're fantastic flying golf discs with fantastic plastic. So we had help. And by the way, the manufacturing process also isn't just melt the plastic and then, shove it into a mold. Everything from temperatures to pressures to, like cooling times, and I mean, all the additives you put in and all the things you got to do that'll ultimately change the way the disc comes out of the mold. Because discs don't come out of the mold the identical shape of the mold. There's a whole process that happens after, when plastic cools.
Yeah.
Learning all that meant we would not make great discs off the bat. So we spent the money to have someone who knows what they're doing. We felt that was worth it to hit the ground running. Yeah. So that's why our discs are so good, because I'm not taking credit for it.
Right.
Like, everyone loves the plastic. Everybody loves our plastic. Like, the people like all of our plastic's good, but like our what's called mesoplastic, which is like a Champion plastic. We reference other companies.
Yeah.
It's kind of the clear plastic. It is the grippiest, by far, in my opinion, the grippiest, tackiest Champion-like plastic on the market. It's unbelievably good, and I get zero credit for it. Like, the only part of the process I was involved in is I felt it and went, wow, that's really good. Use this.
That's cool, that one,
our
the
putter
owl.
plastic.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, if you've tried it, the owl's great plastic. And then if people that try the putter plastic are like mind blown. They're like, this is what putters are supposed to feel like. And again, I don't get any credit for it other than saying I felt a bunch of different plastics and said, yeah, go with this one. But I don't I didn't put it together. Like I just got to give the thumbs up on the one we're selling.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, Scott, and that's like on the deep side of the manufacturing part, but me, I'm going to be on the other side of it, on the actual marketing side. Is I'm not an ornithologist, but I do like my birds, and I love that you picked the bird theme for it. There's so many birds you could choose from, obviously, for all the different names and that. What made you think about going with birds as a theme?
All right, so that's a great question. I even shot a little video about this, but it, so first off, okay, the obvious one: birds fly. They're beautiful. They're majestic. The flight of the bird, the flight of the disc. Okay, that part is it's cool. It really makes a lot of sense, but that's not the only reason. Because well, first off, I like the idea of having themes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of having names kind of follow a theme, because then people, like, if a disc came out called the Sheriff, you know what company makes it, right? Because it's, which is cool. If a disc comes out called the Cheetah or the Leopard, you know what company made that disc. So I like that. Now, when we looked into it, there were no themes that were completely untouched. Like if you did tools, well, there's, Innova came out with a disc called the Hammer, right? So like, okay, some tools are taken.
Yeah.
So there were no untouched. So birds, obviously, there was the eagle, the condor, right? So we weren't going to go untouched. But fortunately, there's a lot of birds out there. So we love the idea of going with birds. But the other reason why birds, aside from being beautiful and majestic, and I hope this doesn't scare away part of my audience, but this is just being honest, is that birds. So one of the things about birds that's so cool is that the only reason we think that they're beautiful and majestic is because we're bigger than them. If you were smaller than a bird,
Yeah.
birds would be the most evil, vile, terrifying monsters on planet Earth.
Fair.
Right? So I made the video about this, and I said, if birds didn't exist on Earth, if nothing flew, and you were writing a science fiction / horror book, you might tell the story of landing on a planet where these things flew around in the sky and they silently hunted from above. And when they spotted their prey, you were dead before you were actually dead, because they would spot you and they would come down and just wham, and they would take you out. At which point they would grab you, they would fly you, and they would rip you apart above the mouths of their children. Okay, that's what birds are.
Yes.
All right, birds are. So to me, like, birds just aren't beautiful and majestic. Birds are also like really badass monsters.
Right.
They're just not seen that way. So when I see birds, I think, like, yeah, you think owls are beautiful? Go ask a mouse how beautiful owls are.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So anyway, so I think birds are cool. I think they're cooler than they get credit for, because we think they're cute. They're not cute. They're monsters.
Yeah.
That's a great explanation. Yeah, I watch a lot of your videos, but I didn't catch that one, so I got something to add to my list to check out later.
Definitely a different take on it for sure. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, I think I basically just covered all of it.
So that was
there.
all of it there. Cool.
Well, I mean, a lot of this. Look, I'm a guy. Like, I'm a guy. I think terrifying monsters are cool. Like, I mean, like, what's more badass than like silent assassins? I mean, come on, that's if they literally have swords on their fingertips, dude. That's like they're all like little miniature flying Freddy Kruegers.
It is true. That's why, Alfred Hitchcock did the movie, and it scared a lot of people when that came out, because if they also come out in numbers, it doesn't matter how big there are if there's a lot of them.
I think this is a trend. Look at things that you take for granted or you think are all nice and cute and cuddly. Look at them from a different perspective and see how terrifying they can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Birds are monsters.
Yeah. Well, Scott, as we keep moving along here, I really enjoyed watching your return to disc golf, the way you earned your tour card, and then as a 50-year-old player doing that and showing us that, as we're 40 plus, I guess you're now into the 50 group.
Into the 50s. I'm in the MA 50 now.
That disc golf truly is one of those sports that if you can commit to it and you can learn the right form and put the practice and put the time in, there's always going to be space for you to compete at a professional level. So that's been pretty cool to see over the years. Also watching you travel all over the world. And we were trying to get an idea of your plans for 2026. But one of the things we really did notice is when you go to the PDGA page, there's no upcoming events for you to play in. So why don't you tell us what 2026 looks like for you?
So 2026 is going to be, I have to, I'm 57 years old. Am I 57 or 56?
Not until August.
Okay, sorry. I'm 56. I'm going to be, I'm at the age where I have to ask my age, whatever that means.
Yes.
Right.
Read into that which you wish. Yes, I'm going to be 57. I have to get this company off the ground, and I have to become successful with it. And by successful, my measure of success isn't owning a yacht. My measure of success is when I get older and can't work as much, I need to have something that works and that is sustaining me. I started my life over at 50 years old with no safety net. When I took off at 50 years old to hit the road again, I had no money in the bank. I got no safety net. Basically, I have no social security. I got nothing. It's not a complaint. It's not a sob story. Like I've had a heck of a life, but part of the fun of having a heck of a life is you don't necessarily have resources left over when you're 50. So I have to make this work. And so my focus right now is on this company. Like I'm sitting here making these great discs that fly well. They're priced great. They got great artwork. The plastic's great. I need people to try them because if they try them, they'll like them. Getting people to try them isn't easy. We're going up against these juggernauts. There's effectively four major golf disc manufacturers for all intents and purposes. A lot of smaller brands exist under these four, but there's four big companies. And the biggest problem and the biggest complaint I have about these companies, and I'll name them right now, it's Innova, Discraft, MVP, and the whole House of Disc lineup. I have a huge problem with these companies. And the problem I have with them is that they all make really good discs in really good plastic with really good artwork. They sell them at reasonable prices, and they're being run by like really smart, competent people. Every one of those things as a small company is terrible. Right? Because if these big companies were like bad at what they did, if their discs sucked, if they were ugly, if they didn't fly well, like I would have no problem. I would take over the industry in about 4 days. The problem is they're all really good. By the way, if you haven't noticed, they're also run by friends of mine. I love the people running these companies. They're all my friends. They're all in my contact list on my phone. So I'm trying to compete with people who are big and who are doing a good job. That's really hard to do. There's not a hole in the market I'm trying to fill. I'm trying to find my space when these guys are already there doing well. That's a huge challenge. And so going out to play a disc golf tournament is like, the clock's ticking on my life. I gotta focus on getting this company off the ground so I can I don't need to explain why. I'm 57 years old, launching the company 2 years ago, starting at ground zero. Like, I have to make this work. It's not going to happen in 2 years, but it can't take 20.
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, one of the ways to help to grow your company is, like you said, getting people to throw your discs. One of the way to get people throwing your discs is to actually sponsor players, and you've put together starting to put together a great team that you're supporting for the 2026 year. Why don't we start with talking about Dallas Garber?
Yeah, so I have three players who are effectively out on tour, and all three of them occupy a whole unique niche, which is really nice because they're not cannibalizing each other's market, which is
Right.
From a business perspective. I didn't actually intentionally do it this way. I picked the three most qualified people, and it just happens they fit perfectly. Dallas Garber just turned 18 years old. Let's see. Actually, it's really funny. As I'm talking to you, a message from Dallas popped up on the screen. Literally, that when I paused right there because I got a message from Dallas.
That's awesome.
So Dallas Garber is just turned 18 years old. He's a a superstar in the making. Great kid, great family. He had a run last year at 17 years old where he won 4 out of 5 A tiers in the Open Division at 17 years old.
Right.
He went out, he won the Wintertime Open before hitting the Pro Tour this season, went out to his first Disc Golf Pro Tour event, Elite Series event, and was finished 15th place.
Yes.
Amazing.
Like, it's just unbelievable. Like, he's just like, you can't ask for someone to hit the ground running faster than him.
Yeah.
The second player is Ann Deputy, who is, this was mind blowing to me because you want to talk about a blue chip prospect. She was last year, she won the 18 and under female junior world championships.
Awesome.
So the 18 and under female junior world champion basically means you go wherever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were the high school basketball player of the year, female player of the year, you get to choose which university you play for. The door is open. And the fact that she chose Stokely Discs and to work with me, her and her family, mind blown, absolutely mind blown. She's another rock star in the making. She's got she's still trying to finish up high school, so she's not going to be out there at all these events, but she's in it for the long haul. And she could have gone anywhere. She chose to work with me, so it's going to be a great fit. And then the third one is one of the most respected veterans on tour. He's in his 6th season. Is Connor O'Reilly, and Connor's out there. Connor is one of the top players out there. He's one of the players that has a chance to be very successful or win. He won an NT event 5 years ago, which is basically like a tour event 5 years ago. So he's a winner out there, and that he's a veteran, and he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it all, and he's respected and loved, and again, he has the talent to win anytime he plays, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm also asking of him to be a leader with the younger team members as well, because he is the veteran, and I'm trying to build an actual team, not just because it's called team because they're all throwing the same company discs.
Yeah.
But let's build this like a team. Let's support each other and root, and that's kind of the idea. So those are the 3 touring players, but those aren't the only 3 players I sponsor.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, before you get to the other players that you sponsor, you were talking about Connor, and why don't you tell Scott about that?
Yeah, no, last year we got to play at the Canadian Nationals. We were out there. We did some hosting out there. One of the highlights for us was during some of the downtime, we got to sit around and have a meal with Paige Pierce and Connor O'Reilly. And that was definitely one of the highlights for us, just to have a conversation with him, seeing how down to earth he is. And he's just an all round great guy. So we can see why, he's obviously a great choice for a team captain, if you want to call him a team captain, a leader, whatever you want to call him on the team. But yeah, he's definitely a great addition to your team.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I want to do is a big thing that I have to offer is mentorship. And the reason why is because my history in disc golf came from everything I have in this world came from the mentorship of people before me and people who are older than me.
Right.
Like that's my history. Like I dropped out of school and I didn't finish the 10th grade. I was out playing frisbee golf all day. Did have had a pretty decent life, aside from some ups and downs, but that's because I learned from those people. So I am getting to mentor the different players on tour. And one of the ways I'm going to be trying to mentor Connor is mentoring him to take on mentorship roles, because I have less to offer him than the younger players because Connor's been there for a while. I don't need to tell Connor how to get a good night's rest and how to deal with the pressure and how to, like that's not what I'm doing. I can mentor him in how to move in the transition as he gets older from disc golf player to disc golf business.
Mm-hmm.
But I also expect him to take on that mentorship role with the younger players as well, because they're going to look to him as far as, hey, I didn't cash 3 weeks in a row. Like I'm starting to doubt myself. What do I do? Well, I'm here for you, but so's Connor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to take on those roles as well. I want our whole team to follow this pattern. This is how people learn for thousands and thousands of years. Like the idea of mentors is a very tried and proven method of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Scott, to add about that, I just want to we're gonna keep pumping Connor's tires a little bit here because I got another story about him. And while we were at Nationals,
That's great. Love it.
Yeah. Well, while we were there at Nationals as well, not only did he take that time to spend, an hour and sit and chat and just, we were like one of the boys with him. It wasn't like, oh yeah, you're a guy who's kind of fanboying or something like that. It was just a comfortable conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes in the weekend, he's courteous to everybody, he's kind to everybody, and then he plays his last round. And while every other player is doing their thing, maybe having a drink or doing their thing, no problems there, Connor is standing on tee number 1 of the course, teaching somebody who wanted to learn a little bit more about their form, and he's taken the time to mentor him. Yeah. So he's following just right in the way that you're talking about. He's already down that path, and it was awesome to see. And then as I wanted to throw a disc, he's like, no problem, man. And if you want a little tip while you throw it, just let me know. So he's just such a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the reason I got onto the whole thing about mentorship was I kind of got off topic. I was about to reference the fact that every single person I sponsor is going to be a certain quality of human being.
Right.
It's going to be a certain type of good person. By the way, there's no politics involved in this, like right or left. There's no religion or lack of religion. Like I don't care about any of that stuff whatsoever. I care about how do you treat the people around you? How do you make them feel? How do you make people around you better? And if you are that person, then you are welcome to be part of this thing that I'm doing. If you're not that type of person, I still might be your biggest fan. There's no rule in sports that says you have to be this like gregarious, nice love,
Mm-hmm.
like there's no, I don't think you're a bad person if you don't, give the way I like to give and stuff like that. You're just not a fit for our team. You could be a perfect fit for the other guy's team. And like I said, I could be the biggest fan of you because you're a good guy who's awesome. But you might not be a fit for what we're doing because Stokely Discs is going to be about a different spirit, That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. It fits.
And with that spirit too, we can see it because of your openness, Scott, and the way you are willing to share. The fact that your team meeting is not just a private little team meeting. You're willing, and the players are willing to share what goes behind making this team what it is, and sharing that with everybody through the Facebook videos and everything else. And that's a cool aspect that allows us to see behind the curtain a little bit, and just, when you don't have anything to hide and you're showing how great of a group you are, it's an easy thing to do, and it's great to see.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be something that I tried it out, and we're trying to figure out, it's about the time about when we're going to be doing this, since we're trying to get logistics down. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to have a team meeting with everybody. Originally I thought, hey, let's do a podcast with me and the team every week. And then I thought, well, that's been done a lot. Or we could talk about disc golf. Well, that's been done a lot. I said, well, what about if we just have our team meeting and we just let people listen in? Where I talk to you about your struggles with putting, and then you guys are sharing with each other where you're going to be staying at this tournament, and where you stayed last year, but that campground's closed, and like that is interesting stuff. We know this. We learned this from pro wrestling, that there's a lot of people like to watch the show, but there's a lot of people that like to peek behind the curtain. That's also a different type of show. And I was like, well, let's just do that then. So our team meetings aren't going to take questions from the audience. We might do some private addition to that, because I have a Discord server, scottstokely.net/Discord. For anybody that wants to. And we might start doing, or not might, we will start doing opportunities for people that actually want to interact and chat with the team. But the team meeting, I thought, let's just do it like, let's have our team meeting and put the cameras on and then forget the cameras are there.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to do, by the way. It's really hard to forget the cameras there when you know the camera's on. Not easy, but that's the goal.
Yeah, I think as you get more comfortable and everybody gets used to it, it will happen. But you know what, Scott? We do want to move on to another player that you have, obviously a Canadian. But before we get there, you kind of sidetracked me a little bit because there was another one of your videos I saw, and you mentioned it's not like, or it is like pro wrestling. How the heck did you get in a ring and become a wrestler? I watched a video of you doing a wrestling match just this past week.
Of course. I wrestled. So I worked as a manager out in Colorado for a while, but I've also wrestled. I have matches. I love pro wrestling. I'm not a fan of the modern WWE mainstream product. That's not the pro wrestling that I like. I like old school wrestling. I like wrestling from the territory days. I like wrestling, independent wrestling. That is what I enjoy. I don't mind getting into a ring. I don't mind getting hurt. And the way I got into it was, it's kind of just, if you've read my book, you know I do this. If there's something I want to do, I just do it.
Right.
So I went on Facebook about 7 years ago and I said, I want to wrestle. Are there any disc golfers out there affiliated with a wrestling company? I want to get into the ring and wrestle. And I got contacted by someone in South Bend, Indiana. He says, well, I know a guy that runs a promotion in Elkhart, Indiana. And, if you want someone to beat the crap out of you in front of a elementary school gymnasium, I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And so, that was it. But originally it was supposed to be a one-off, by the way. My whole idea was I'm going to do one bucket list thing. I just want to get into the ring once. And then I did it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so addictive.
Well, I'll say too, Scott, with that is that to all of our listeners out there, if they're going to check it out, what it reminded me a little bit of too was there's that Saturday Night Live episode with Will Ferrell. And what's the one thing you need more of? You need more cowbell. So if you find that video, you'll see a little bit about that in it as well.
Yeah, I had a dent in my forehead. It was there for like 3 days. I can still feel like a dent in my forehead from the cowbell. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it hurts. It's like when I met my girlfriend, when I first met her, this is right before COVID. And I go, if you're going to travel with me, there's something you're going to need to understand about our travels. And I showed her a picture of my back, and she looked at this incredibly kind of massive welt on my back, the shape of a steel chair. And she looked at my back and she says, "What, is that a steel chair?" And I was like, yes. I go, these are not fake chairs. These are steel chairs. They hurt. And you wear the bruises for a while. But anyways, I told her, I go, you're going to be filming a lot of this. Now COVID hit, which kind of put a hold on everything, and then I've kind of just gotten back into it again. Wrestling's fun.
That's awesome.
Scott was saying he's 56, he's 57 later this year. I've just turned 50. He said 7 years ago he decided that he wanted to try this, as a bucket list thing. I'm 50 now. I mean, I love wrestling. I liked old school. I like 1980s wrestling as well. I'm not so keen on the nowadays, but I don't think there's any part of me that wants to get in the ring and get hit with steel chairs. So I'll leave that to you, Scott. You take all the risks and do all the bucket list. I'll do the nice, gentle things that I have on my list.
Do the live vicariously.
No,
yeah.
I took a steel chair to my head once. That does not feel good.
I bet.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
But if we can bring it back to the team, and
Sure.
you mentioned 3 great players that you have on your team already, and building this great team, and the certain style of player, the style of person that you want to have on your team. one of the other people that you have on Team Stokely is someone that we interviewed a little while ago now, maybe
Earlier
6 months
this
ago,
year.
earlier this year, maybe. And he certainly falls into the mold of the person that you're, building the team around, and that would be Carver Whitford. How did you want to tell us a little bit about how that all came about?
Yeah, that came about through Carrie Neal.
Right.
So there was a kid. I did a video with a kid who was struggling with some things,
Mm-hmm.
and Carrie Neal said, we got a disc golfer, a junior disc golfer out here that has had some similar struggles with similar things, who wanted to reach out to this kid who was younger and just let him know, hey, you're going to be all right. You got a friend here in Canada if you ever want to chat about it. I've been through the same thing you're going through. And I was like, well, damn, I would say that's a pretty respectable thing. That's Carver, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is that Carver didn't do this with any ulterior motive.
Right.
Like, he didn't do this because he was trying to land a sponsorship. I wasn't making discs back then. When he reached out to me, he had nothing to gain in this interaction other than he was he was a young man with class and integrity who wanted to do what he felt was right based on the situation. In fact, you know what? I'll put it this way: he was being a man.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what men have always. I said this in my speech about Oak Grove. Men have always looked out for the weakest of their tribe. Well, this is a young man who Carver probably felt was in his tribe, who was younger than him. So Carver's job as a young man was to reach out and to try to help and protect a younger person in his tribe. And that's, to me, that's like, wow, that's like, I expect you to do that when you're 30. I don't
Right.
expect a teenager to do that. And I was like, I'm just blown away with this kid. So the minute I never forgot this, right? And so when I started building a team, I was like, well, who do I want to be a part of what I'm doing? Well, there's this young man up in up in British Columbia who by the way, at this point now I'm following his career, and he's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's also really good, hey, that doesn't hurt, right? I mean, that's a pretty good selling point too. But he was throwing with Innova, very happy with Innova, and I got nothing but positive vibes for Innova as well. But I basically said to him, look, there's a business around disc golf. I cannot promise you how your athletic career is going to go. Nobody can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best blue chip high school basketball player in the world, a lot of them fail in college. And then the ones who succeed in college, a lot of them fail in the NBA. Like, you can't predict your athletic success. What you can do, however, what is far more predictable, is you can predict your career. When you want to build a career around something, the business of that sport, there's possibilities, right? Like, you can't necessarily make it into the NBA, but if you want to be a basketball coach, you could build a career as a basketball coach. That's fairly guaranteed. Being in the NBA is not, right? So I reached out to his dad and his family, and I said, I would love to support your career, but and by the way, sky's the limit for you, but there's no way to predict how far you go with your career. But I'm building this company, and I want good people to be part of this company, and there's things that I think where we could grow together, and you could be a part of something. I said to him, I go, look, we're in it for the long game. I'm a very brand new startup company. You're going to be taking a leap of faith to work with me. You're going to have to just trust my word, and my word's going to be, if we're together and you're with me on this, nothing's going to happen overnight. But as I grow and build this, you're going to be a part of this if you're a part of what I'm doing. But you're playing the long game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens with startups, right?
Yeah.
And he made the decision to jump on board, and my job now is to make sure he doesn't regret that decision. But as a small startup company, we're playing the long game here, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Well,
but as far as I'm concerned, Carver's part of our team.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like sponsor team. Every player who's sponsored is part of that team. That's not what I mean.
Right.
He's part of my personal team. And I hope that he's going to become part of the inner circle and evolve with us, because he's the type of person I want in my life. And as I get older, I'm going to need younger people doing things, because that's just the natural order of things. So yeah, I think Carver's going to be with us for a while because of who he is.
Yeah. And he had so many good things to say. Every interaction we've had with him has always been a good one. And as we talk about Connor and having met him and what we're seeing from Dallas and what we're going to see with Anne, the more we see her up on things as well, you're right. These are like puzzle pieces just fitting together perfectly is what it appears to be.
Yes, they are. They're 100%. Well, I told both Dallas and Ann the same thing. I said, if you throw my discs in 2026, you will make less money than you make if you throw Innova discs or Discraft discs. I cannot compete with them.
Right.
Period. That's it. That's not even that's not on the table. We can't even negotiate that. I said, what I can offer is, and then I laid out a lot of these things. The mentorship, the growing with a brand, the being a big fish in a small pond, all these things. But the biggest thing I presented, which is, when you get in early with a startup, that is buying high risk stock. Like, a lot of people did really well buying Apple stock early, but a lot of people bought stock that looked just as good as Apple that lost all their money because the company went out of business. That's the definition of high risk.
Yeah.
But high risk also has high rewards. So I didn't sugarcoat it. I've said to everybody, look, I'm a high risk investment, but if you believe in what I'm doing and you help make this thing work, we are all going to be successful together. I'm not going to leave you out in the cold once I start doing well. You're part of this, but I can't promise you anything. So that's kind of the whole picture. So that's what I said to Carver. That's what I said to all of them. I said, if you want to take a leap of faith, and I think it's a good move. I think we're going to be successful, but you have to forego money. You have to forego money in 2026 to do it. And both Ann and Dallas were like, "Yeah, we believe."
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
is.
Yeah, you have that certain thing about you, Scott, so I can see where they're all coming from. Anytime we've met Carver, like you said, he's been a great guy, down to earth, always, very personable to speak to. We've seen him around a few places in Canada. He's going to be playing in the Canadian Nationals this year. We know you've played in Canada previously. We know that you played at the World Championships in 1987. Carver's going to be playing Nationals this year. You've been to Canada. Canadian Nationals. Is there any chance that we might see you, maybe not to Nationals, but we're hoping, there's still room, if you want to show your stuff, there's still room in the MPO division. You can play against Thomas Gilbert. We've got Casey Hannemeyer. He's a great MPO. Even Nate Sexton is coming up to play in Nationals in 2026. Is there any chance that we might see you traveling north of the border for 2026?
So I'm probably not doing a whole lot of competing.
That's fair.
I have to just keep my nose to the ground, because if it was up to me, I would just be competing every weekend. And it's kind of like I have to emotionally just switch gears. It's not the tournament itself. It's that, because of my age, like, if I train perfectly and dedicate all my time and training to playing, I'm still up against Father Time, basically, grabbing the back of my shirt while I'm running up the tee pad, keeping, like, preventing me from throwing the way I want to throw. So on my best days, I have a hard time being competitive. But that means that's if I spend all the time and effort and everything to train and be ready for it. I just can't do it. So if I was to, at 57 years old, not practice a whole lot, I would get murdered out there. I mean, it wouldn't be pretty. So it's not like I'm turning down a chance at winning. Like, I might have a chance of winning if I train, but I can't dedicate my season to that. I got to make this disc company go.
Yeah.
Like, I need people to throw my frisbees. Maybe in a couple of years, if this company is successful, you guys, hey, if you guys want to see me out there playing, go to StokelyDiscs.com, order the discs, make my company successful, and then when I'm 60 years old, I'll go out and get my tour card again, and I'll go compete on the pro tour again.
Well,
There
I
you
could
go.
do it. I could do it at 60 years old. I'll
There you
blow
go.
everybody's mind, but I need the disc company to work first.
all right. So I think we got that. We got that part. But what about coming up in July to Canada, bringing the discs,
That's what I was
doing
thinking.
some clinics,
Yeah.
seeing Scott on Carver's bag, helping Carver around the course. We're not
Oh,
trying. We'd love it.
I look at here. You have my word. I will make it to Canada. I have every intention of doing a like 3 or 4 month Canadian. Like I'm going to probably spend an entire season just going off across Canada from
Oh,
Vancouver to Nova Scotia. Like I mean, I've never done that, and I want to, so I will.
okay.
It's just going to be. It can't be this year. It can't. I have to. I got to run these triple threat scrambles every single day in the U.S. because it's hard to ship up there at the moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. Well, what we'll do is we'll work on our side of trying to get to you, Scott, and then in the future we'll
Yes,
see you
please
come
do.
up to see us.
Please don't stop trying. I want you to keep trying. I would be heartbroken if people, what is it like? Like if you're a girl, like if you're a pretty girl, but then someday the phone stops ringing, like that's probably like you die in here, right? So the minute you stop trying to get me to come to your tournaments, I'm like, I'll die inside. So please keep trying.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But Scott, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been awesome chatting with you tonight. We don't want to keep you too much longer, and we appreciate you making the time and the effort and swinging things to come and join us. And we'll always have you on whenever you want to. But before we let you go, we just want to give you some time. Is there something that we didn't cover that you still wanted to shout out, or anything else you wanted to mention?
Yeah. So off the top of my head, I'm gonna play a. I have every intention of. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna play a for my 57th birthday. I want to play a 57-kilometer long hole,
Okay.
Okay.
which is about 35 miles, and it's a golf hole, which means it has to be played straight through. You don't get to play and then go to sleep for the night. So it's gonna wind up being about 26 hours to play one hole from tee off to finish.
Wow.
Um, straight. I cannot predict whether or not I'm going to finish the hole. Like I'm not going to, my muscles won't get too fatigued. I'm not going to mentally, check out. What I can't predict is how my hips do, how my knees do, like all of those things that work perfectly fine. I'm in very good shape for 57 years old, but you get 10 hours in, you it's very possible I discover my body can't do
Yeah.
it. So I can't promise that I'm going to complete it, but I'm going to try,
Okay.
and I'm going to train for it. Um, the reason why I'm doing this is, well, first, my selfish reasons are that if I don't have things that I'm focused on doing, if I don't have goals, I tend to get very lazy. Like, like I I have a hard time eating well and getting into the gym when I'm not competing.
Hmm.
Like the idea of just doing it for my health, it doesn't motivate me enough to stay in shape. So I wanted something that motivated me to stay in shape. But the other reason I'm doing it is because I want the other older people out there to understand that as long as your heart's still beating, then you are not in the ground. You're
Yeah.
not covered by dirt. And and you can still live and you can live life. But one of the things that I believe, I really truly believe this, and I'm going to say as a man, I'm not trying to exclude women in this. It's just that I can't speak. I can speak for men. And as a man, one of the things I can tell you is that I believe we need to do hard things, challenging things, and even things that we might fail at in order to be alive.
Hmm.
Like we need things that are hard. And again, the key is that things that you might fail at, because nobody fails at watching a Netflix show. Nobody fails at playing
Right.
pinochle on Tuesdays with your friends. Like, no, but what you fail at is you fail at trying to throw 300 feet someday. You fail at competition. You fail at setting, goals for your weight. I mean,
Hmm.
there's unlimited number of things, but I want to I want my older audience to set goals for themselves that are hard and to go after them, because it doesn't matter if you fail. If you fail, you're still alive.
Hmm.
That's
So
fair.
I'm going to go out there and like I always do, I put everything out there publicly, and I'm going to attempt to do this. And if I fail, I'll fail in front of everybody, and I'll show everybody that, the following day I'll come up with a new idea of something else hard to do. But this is going to be important to me, and I want people to follow along. And as I start getting in shape, I'm going to encourage every other people to get into shape with me, because why not? We can do it together. We need to live, guys. 57 years old. I don't feel dead yet.
No.
Yeah, I
So
hope not. You're only a little bit ahead of me, Scott.
yeah. So, anyways, that's the big thing I just announced. So, other than the disc company, the triple threat challenges, going to Discord, scottstokely.net/Discord, becoming part of the inner circle. Like, that's where I'm going to be updating you. Like, you're the first to hear of everything there and stuff like that. The the biggest thing is this 57 claw. I can't even say the words without like literally my knees hurt just saying the words 57 kilometer golf hole. But I don't care. I'm gonna do everything I can to do it, and I want to live stream the whole thing and talk to everybody while I do. I think that'd be fun.
Oh, I
Be
can't
awesome.
wait for it.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Scott, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We look forward to keeping an eye on Scott Stokely Discs. Like you said, check out Disc Republic
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
StokelyDisc.net.
yeah. I always encourage people to go shop at their local retail store first. You got to support the entrepreneurs in our sport.
Yeah.
They are the backbone of our sport. If there's a store in your town that carries Stokely discs and they carry the model that you want, uh, go buy it from them. Go support your local entrepreneur. They need your business to stay afloat. They're the ones running leagues, putting courses in the ground, teaching classes in your town. Don't let your local stores go out of business
Yeah.
because you're trying to save 50 cents ordering through the internet. That's not in your best interest. But if they don't carry the discs you want, or they don't carry Stokely discs in your town, obviously StokelyDiscs.com. I want you to try my discs no matter what.
For
Oh,
sure.
and right here, and right, this is my autobiography. You can get it StokelyDiscs.com. Also, it's you just click on the little things and click on media.
Hmm.
My autobiography. I think it's very, very good. It's about the history of disc golf, because I was there through most of it. So if
Yeah.
you don't care two licks about me, but you want to hear about the history of disc golf from the inside, it's a pretty good read. And then you can get the audiobook on Audible.
That's awesome.
Definitely some great stories. I can testify to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet. And I know
For sure.
after we
Yeah,
did that
I
last
don't hold
episode.
anything back.
Yeah.
I hold nothing back. It's all there. It's all
Well,
on the table. The good, the bad, the crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, Scott, after our last episode with you, Daryl and a couple of other people we know had either bought the book or bought the audiobook. It almost felt like they had a bit of a book club going. So maybe we can get that started again after this episode as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
do it. I love it. Do it. I love it. Do it. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Well,
Awesome.
awesome. Well, Scott, if anything else comes out up throughout the year and you want us to help share it out there or anything like that, you just let us know. We'll make sure the Canadian listeners know what's
Okay.
happening with Stokely.
Appreciate that.
Okay. All the best.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. You have listeners. You have listeners all over the world, man. It's not just Canada.
Yeah, well,
That's
that's
true.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. We're growing.
You are. Hey, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you very, very much for everything you do. You guys make the sport better. So thank you.
Absolutely.
you, Scott.
Thanks, Scott. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Ah, Daryl, my face is hurting from smiling right now.
I know. We get these guests on that, we're kind of holding the reins. We're guiding people through. We're getting stories. We're getting answers and things like that.
Mhm.
Then again, there's some guests that you get on where you ask a question and then it's like, okay, sit back, relax,
And
strap
enjoy.
yourself in because we're going to have a nice story to listen to.
Yeah.
And Scott's definitely one of those. He's, like like you said about the book club, whatever, listening to or recounting stories from his book and then just being able to listen to him actually tell these stories in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
And he's always, the other thing about Scott is that he gives so much back to disc golf because disc golf has given
It
him,
saved him. Yeah, that's what he
it's
says.
given him everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so even coming on to our podcast and making himself available to anybody who wants to talk disc golf and wants to learn more and share, he's always willing to do it. And making the time for us tonight, totally appreciate it from him. And really looking at it, the way we had it worded was, okay, 2 weeks ago, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Last week, Olympic athlete. This week, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I think it is, if this mic could drop, I think that's it. Do we just call it a podcast and move on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe should we get Isaac Robinson, world champion?
World champions. We need
get one
that.
of them on next year. Who's left?
That's right. It's amazing. There are so many great people left, and it doesn't always have to be at that level, but it's just always humbling to think that these guests are joining us as well on the podcast. So it's fantastic. And we appreciate all of you out there for hanging in there tonight and listening and getting to this point, and really encourage you to jump on to Facebook if that's where you're watching tonight live, YouTube after the fact on this one, or if you're over on Instagram, subscribe, follow, do all of that, like, comment. We would love for you to do it and just
all of that stuff.
Help us keep growing this channel so we can keep giving you great interviews like we did tonight. Now, the one thing we're going to do for anybody who's still going to hang around was, because we changed the format today. We had started with a very short topic show, but we had some really cool stuff to talk about a great event that happened in Canada this past weekend. So we want to go right back up to our topic show.
Yeah.
Right,
well, like you said, we always like to do a tournament review. This week, or this past week, there were 6 events in Canada.
Yes.
4 of them being C tiers. But believe it or not, they were all in either BC or Ontario.
Well, that's where the weather tends to be, I think.
It's where the weather is. This week, though, we're going to be focusing on the Toronto Open. That's, sorry, give me 1 second here. Let me catch my train of thought.
Yeah.
We're going to be focusing on the Toronto Open.
Yes.
Now, like you said, we got a big recap on this one, and I might need you to help me with this one. We might need to tag team this.
I think this is a double barrel tournament.
Right, this is
the first one we've
quite
had
a lot
to
of information.
Really take on together.
Okay. The Toronto Open, believe it or not, is actually a week-long celebration of disc golf.
It certainly
all
is.
around Toronto.
It is.
Did you know that? On Monday,
I thought it was just a tournament, like when I first started doing the research.
Yeah.
But then as we started doing the deep dive into it and chatting with people, it's way more than just a little tournament.
Here we go. It starts on a Monday. You got the East End Putting League.
Right.
Okay. Tuesday, take the day off.
Okay.
There's nothing happening on Tuesday. Wednesday, you've got Glow in the Dark at Marilyn Bell. Okay.
Okay.
If you didn't get a chance to get out to that one, Thursday, you got Glow in the Dark again, and that's out at the new Beaches layout.
Oh.
Right?
We've heard lots about Beaches. You know, one thing I heard about Beaches, just so you know, this is just a little fact.
What did you hear?
Have you heard of the band, The Beaches? It's a 4-piece female group from Toronto.
Yeah.
You thought maybe they were doing like a play on words, were the Beaches, but they're not. It was actually named after the Beaches, the same place where this course is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Friday, take Friday off. Saturday, let's get stuck into a PDGA sanctioned AM tournament that's held out at Dentonia Park, and that's followed by more Glow in the evening.
Wow.
More Glow.
Yeah.
Sunday, another PDGA sanctioned pro tournament this time, and that's out at Scarlet Woods. So you've got a full week-long celebration of disc golf for the Toronto Open.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is planning it this time of year out in that area in Ontario is Dentonia and Scarlet Woods are those temporary winter courses that Chris Oslin's and the group out there have worked to put in, where they get to take a ball golf course in the off season when there's no ball golf all winter long and turn it into a disc golf course.
Yeah.
So that's where they play those 2 tournaments, which is awesome. And you know what? You've got Kara Hovius, you got Jeff McKeegan, you got the Chain Link group. They know what they're doing. They got a Toronto Open website. They got a Toronto Open Facebook page. Their social media is on point. They're always doing great things that way. And beyond that, for this whole week and this excitement, on Friday they did a draw. They did a raffle.
Yeah.
Had 28 different items in the raffle. Total value over $2,000.
Wow.
Paul Macbeth hoodie and toque. They had an AX6 Ledgestone bag. Discape chipped in some new prototype discs. They're always trying new discs, and they got them there. So at the Toronto Open, you get to try these out before anyone else.
That's awesome.
Just crazy what they're doing there.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the Chainlink organization there. This event was obviously organized by them. Like you said, Cara Hovius, Jeff McKeegan, they already do so much for disc golf in the Toronto area and in disc golf in general. They were the tournament directors, as well as Josh Sachs and Gio Noseworthy. Cara and Jeff also wanted to give a bit of a shout out to some volunteers. Jack Coney, Dave Ruh, Dr. Glow, Andrew Kavanagh, Sean Galbraith, Daniel Corey, and Greg Hildebrand. Yeah. Beyond that, they also wanted a shout out. They worked with Zach Hoy. He's from a company called ZI 3D to create the 3D course maps.
3D course maps.
Yeah.
Have you seen one?
I've never seen anything like that before. I can't imagine. We talk about elevation on some disc golf courses.
Yeah.
You see the course, it's the layout. Actually getting to see it in 3D.
That would be cool, because I
Almost
think
like a digital walkthrough.
Yeah, like how many times have we watched coverage, and because coverage is kind of 2D,
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, this is quite the uphill shot, and you're like,
Yeah.
and then you get to the course.
Yeah.
So I guess that 3D work would be really cool for it.
Yeah. Now, if that wasn't enough, let me catch my breath. They also They also worked with Dwight Powell from Ledgestone.
Oh.
Yeah, he's been a great supporter. Chainlink is going to be part of the World Championship team this year with Dwight and Nate Heinhold. The ultimate goal of everything is to grow the Toronto Open. Get ready. To make it easier for major events like the DGPT Tour stops and World Championships to come to Canada.
Well.
How amazing would that be?
I love it. There's a drum that I like to beat on every now and then, whether it's Western and Eastern, and then Nationals and DGPT events in Canada. And
Right.
to see that Jeff and Kara are working
Shoot
on
for the
that.
Olympics and we'll take the World Championships. Is that how it works?
I think that's it. Yeah, that works out for sure. And they've got a ton of great videos and posts, of course, on their socials. So check that out for sure.
Jeremy, do you know who Dylan Cease is?
What's with the rhetorical question, my friend? Do I know who Dylan Cease? Of course I do. Paul Macbeth's partner at the Olympus Disc Golf Course.
Yeah.
We've got Dylan Cease, the co-owner with Ryan O'Neill and the rest of the group for Brixton Disc Golf, who we had on the podcast.
That guy.
Oh, wait. Dylan Cease, professional baseball pitcher, who's one of the newest members of the Toronto Blue Jays. Do we think we covered all of the different things about him?
That guy. You got the right guy.
Okay, so now that we know who he is, tell me a little bit about what you had to say.
Yeah. Cara, Jeff, and the Toronto Open team have done an amazing job. They've already got their magic working with Dylan. They made a Discgraph Buzz Toronto Open Dylan Cease stamp.
Oh,
that was a lot of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and that was available for all the players at the Toronto Open.
Yeah, and I did get a chance to see the picture. They just had pictures and pictures and pictures of the disc. And so they put a Blue Jay on there.
Right, yeah.
They got Dylan Cease's number on there.
Yeah.
They got like the baseball stadium.
Right.
So like
Definitely.
talk about, hey, yeah,
Branding.
we know you're up here to be a baseball pitcher, but you're part of the disc golf community.
Exactly.
I'm excited. You know what I really want to see?
What?
So do you remember when Thomas Gilbert took the Toronto Maple Leaf players? It was like a Canadian Tire sponsored thing, and they all went to Toronto Island and played the course.
Yeah.
That was okay because, the hockey players, but you're not expecting much out of them.
Right.
I want to see what Dylan Cease does when you got a guy who's a pitcher and a disc golfer. See what he does on the island.
Yeah.
And then we could say, you know what? We were there.
I know what hole he's on. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the recap of the event. Now, should we actually give some congratulations to the people who won?
Sure. Yeah, let's hit a couple of those.
Yeah. Calvin Rorda, he took down the win on the MPO side, and that was against some tough competition there. He was playing against people like Marty Hendel, Kalen Schatt.
Yeah, that's tough competition.
Yeah. Over on the FPO side, Kat Johnson took down the win.
Oh,
yeah.
Always a great player.
Absolutely. Some other names that we all know include Sandy Hendel. She was winning the FP40 division. Howie Meeker, he took down second place in the MP60. And then, of course, we can't do a recap of people playing in the competition without mentioning Andrea. I always want to say Andrea. Andrea. That's right. I second guess myself. Yeah. Andrea Michaud.
Well, I think we got a flashback and we got to try the whole name next time.
That's where it was going. She took down the win in FA40.
Yeah, congratulations,
Yeah.
Andrea. That's awesome. Well, it's fantastic. Toronto Open, way to go, promoting promoting our sport, just trying to help grow it. Good job, Kara, Jeff, the whole team there. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you can't say Chain Out Podcast doesn't try to promote the sport as well.
Right.
I think we did everything we could to try and get Scott up to Canada. I didn't want to get to the uncomfortable part, but I think we were getting close.
You know how when we spoke to Andrea, she was like, if anyone will listen up to me when I talk to them about Chain Out, I'll take out an earbud, I'll give it to them. I'll stop them on the plane, the stewardess on the plane.
Yes.
I think it's starting to become the way with, if we're walking down the street, someone will say, "Oh, hey, how are you doing today? Did you know there's a disc golf tournament
In
in Grand Prairie? It's nationals, Like, we'll talk to anybody and try and convince anyone to go to nationals."
Yeah, that's it. And I think we should talk about it a little bit more. So we've been watching Canadian National Championships registration like a hawk. And there was, as of the start of this episode, 358 people registered out of the 450 available spots that Dylan and Sam have put up there. But you had noticed, we had noticed that Nate Sexton had joined MPO. So that
Right.
was a really cool thing. But you noticed something new in
Yeah.
MPO.
And like you said, we're always watching it like a hawk, and I'm always scanning just to see who the new people are that signed up. I noticed that Henry Pearson will be coming to Grand Prairie.
Okay.
Now, for people that don't know, Henry Pearson, he's the organizer and tournament director for the Tour Down Under.
What did you say? For what?
He's the organizer and the tournament director for the Tour Down Under.
That's right.
So he's coming all the way from New Zealand to play.
Well, that was
FPO
good. I like that.
The FPO division is going to now have up to 14 players. No, I'm not going to carry on.
You-
The FPO division is now going to have up to 14 players, which is one more than last year.
Okay, that's good.
amazing. Yeah. Colleen McInnes is the only player from Ontario, Quebec, Maritimes, even Atlantic Canada to register so far. Wouldn't it be great? We already mentioned her. Wouldn't it be great to see Kat Johnson come out
Yeah.
and play? Maybe
If Kat Johnson can head to, I think, doesn't she normally head down to Puerto Rico? She heads down
Does she?
somewhere there in the winter for a tournament, because she always is putting up some great posts of we're in the snow, she's in the sun playing disc golf.
Okay.
But somewhere like
remember
that
that.
down there.
Okay.
But
fair-
if she can get that far south,
yeah, she can come
she
this
can
far
come west. Yeah.
West.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Keep
Oh,
going.
Chantal Bedinsky, wouldn't it be nice to see? We've still trying to convince these people to come out. Karen
Yeah.
Martel,
Oh yeah.
Julie Bisson, Tannis Trainer, any of those people. We'd love to see the FPO division really fill out.
Yeah, with both sides of Canada.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think if they were waiting
Yeah.
for their cordial invitation, tick 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 tick. That's me typing on my old typewriter.
Sure.
Tick 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 tick.
Yeah.
tick.
Ding.
Ding. Here's your cordial invitation.
That was it.
That was it. You got it. So yeah, that's some of the great things that are happening in Canada right now, and of course what's going on with nationals. And just looking through, making sure we hit all of our topish show. I think we
I think
got
we
it.
did. I think we got
did it.
everything.
The one part at this point, what we need before we get into everybody's favorite part, the drap,
The secret word.
we need the secret word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like Juju. Is that going? Is it a little bit too on the nail?
I almost want to put cowbell out there,
Cowbell?
because you've not seen that video, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
He is literally in a ring wrestling.
Right.
It's like, don't put anything past Scott. It's like if somebody says, "Did you know Scott Stokely did this?" Don't say, "I don't believe that."
Right.
You got to say, "Yep,
Yeah, sure he did.
sure
Yeah.
he did. I
Yeah.
bet he did." So I'd see cowbell for sure.
57-kilometer hole.
Oh yeah, that's
Could
it.
be one.
That would be a good one. I think we got a few there. What else could we put out there?
Yeah. I don't know.
If anybody's got something, let us know. But okay, so I said cowbell. You said 57-kilometer hole. You said the Juju, which is another one. He's got his
Oh, you know what?
mesoplastic.
I just thought of it. The perfect sentence.
What's that?
Birds are monsters.
Oh, that's it. Tell us why birds are monsters and what that means to
Yeah.
you. Drop that in the comments on the YouTube video. It will be up there before you know it. And when you put your comments in there, we'll probably discuss why birds are monsters. Well,
Yeah.
they say that where the dinosaurs, what's left of the
That's it.
dinosaurs is
That's what they
the
say.
alligators and the birds. So yeah, I love it. Good,
Perfect.
Good pick.
There you go.
Fist bump on that one.
That's it. We will
Get ready to head over to
speak
our
to you-
Patreon and do
speak
our
to
round
you
of
next
bass.
week.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We're not done?
No. People hang on this long. Do you think they hang on this long to hear you and I talk? No, they're hanging on this long for the drap.
This is becoming one of the regulars now, right?
The drap. I'm going to drop the drap.
Okay,
I'm
now
almost feeling a little bit like Dr. Evil. Scotty, don't.
Zip it. All right. Are you ready?
Well, we're almost ready.
Okay.
Make sure you join us after this one. Go over to Patreon. We do have the link there. You could jump on with us and be part of it and enjoy some more disc golf talk.
Hopefully.
We're gonna go for another hour.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. Hopefully
Yeah.
you can join us over there.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm ready.
You know what I'd like to say?
What do you like to say?
I would like to say, a legend with a disc. Yeah, you know the name.
Scott Stokely in the house helped build the game.
From Oak Grove days to the modern scene.
Still out there crushing it like it's 2016.
Hall of Fame status. Yeah, his resume's stacked.
Disc golf tattooed on his knuckles? That's a fact.
From books to clinics, always growing the sport.
The Stokely team is rad and ready to hold court.
From wrens to owls, Scott's birds take flight.
His robins and finches, like dinosaurs, will fly through the night.
A lifetime of disc golf passion is what Scott's about.
We'll see you next time for another episode of
Chain
Chain
Out.
Out.
Thanks, everybody.